Today, we're talking about 3 reasons to get the Sony A7S III. Previously had this camera and I shot a few videos with a loaner unit that I had, but I just bought this camera. It arrived yesterday and I'm super excited to see how it performs on some upcoming jobs. Everyone's been jumping on the Sony bandwagon lately, especially with the release of the A7S III. And there's a ton of features that I think are really appealing to a variety of people, but I want to talk through what I think are the most important features that really drove my decision to get it. At $3,500, this camera is definitely not cheap, so there better be some good reasons why you should pay that much money when you can pick up, say, a used Sony A7 III for like 1,500 bucks. Number 1, the menu system. When you look at the menu system on the Sony A7S III, you hit menu, there we go. It's touch compatible, so you can scroll, you can swipe, and it makes it so much easier to navigate. But the thing that really caused me to be excited about this was the fact that you can have separate settings for photo mode or video mode. So that means that when you set a custom profile, picture profile like S-Log3 for shooting video, you go to photo mode, that doesn't cause your photos to be shot in that gamma. So if you shoot photos in S-Log3, it's gonna be a major pain in the butt to edit and they're not gonna look as good. I was recently out on a shoot with my A7 III before I got this camera, and I was shooting some photos and some videos, and I forgot to switch back my video settings, and that caused me to shoot some landscape photos in, I think I was using HLG3. And it's not terrible, but it's definitely doesn't have the same look, and it's just not as appealing because it takes more work in post-production. And now with the Sony A7S III, I can quickly switch photo, video, back and forth, have separate settings. I can maintain that 180-degree shutter rule and have a high shutter speed for shooting photos so I don't get blurry photos, but I still get that smooth-looking video footage. If you're a hybrid shooter, you're shooting photos and videos in a fast-paced environment where you don't have a lot of time to waste, you can't be diving into the menus. So having this new menu system makes such a difference. The second thing, 10-bit color. So with the old Sony cameras, they were all 8-bit color. That meant that, well, to get a little technical, basically you have 2 to the 8th number of colors for red, green, and blue. So that's 256 colors for red, green, and blue, resulting in roughly 16 million colors. That sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to 10-bit color, which is 2 to the 10th, that gives you 1,000 colors, or 1,024 for each channel, red, green, and blue, which gives you over 1 billion colors. So you're talking 16 million versus 1 billion different colors. And then when you combine that with the roughly 2-stop increase in dynamic range, that means you're just getting a much fuller picture. It causes things to not be underexposed and overexposed, and just some of the issues with 8-bit color, you get color blocking, you get noise, and there's a lot of complaints with 8-bit color. So having 10-bit color allows you more latitude when you're editing, and just matching footage is that much easier. The third reason I got this camera, the high ISO performance. You can shoot video at ISO 16,000 and it still looks great. You can shoot photos at ISO 25,000 and they look great. You don't get that with any other camera. The sacrifice you make is 12 megapixel sensor, but that isn't as much of a concern for me. Adobe's new super resolution feature allows you to, using an artificial intelligence program, take 12 megapixels, quadruple it into 48 megapixels, and it looks great. I also did some test prints, and I'll link the video down below and up here. I printed some 20 by 30 images, and I thought they looked great. So 12 megapixels is, in my opinion, adequate to do a 20 by 30 print. And the reality is almost nothing gets printed larger than 20 by 30. So 12 megapixels is great. And with that added benefit of having low noise files, you're just getting a really excellent output for photo and video. Bottom line, the Sony A7S III is the current low light king. And lastly, I want to touch on one bonus reason that is kind of cool. This camera shoots 4K 120. A lot of people got super excited with the EOS R5 release and the Sony A7S III shooting 4K 120 frames per second slow-mo, and doing that while maintaining the 10-bit 422 color. That's awesome. I appreciate it. The reality is I rarely find it necessary to shoot more than 60p, but having that capability is a nice little bonus. So I hope you enjoyed my roundup on the 4 reasons why I got the Sony A7S III. If you have any questions or if you want me to make a video on some specific feature, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. See you in the next one.